And we're back. Stripe Show podcast brought to you by Encore Golf. Encore designs high-performance golf balls for players of all skill levels and swing speeds. I'm your host, Travis Fulton. Thank you for making us part of your day. We roll right in here to the playoffs, the FedEx Cup Playoffs. We've got you covered. Podcast 5 days a week. Great conversation yesterday with Sean Martin breaking down the Wyndham. Now we roll it forward to the first leg of the playoffs. It's called the Northern Trust. It's back at Liberty National. Then we go to the BMW Championship Caves Valley. That'll be fun, new course. And then the Tour Championship down at East Lake, just north of me here in Atlanta. So we've got to bring in the big hitters here. It's time to get to the winning ways. Although last week, if you watched the show, you won money because we were all over it, especially down in the 6K, 7K. Really gave you a lot of great value picks in the world of Roger Sloan and Chris Baker, who both had nice tournaments. Beatin The Bookie, you're back. It is the playoffs. Time to get serious, buddy, and make some cash. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I am always happy to be back, with you. And I heard it through the grapevine that it was your birthday today, so I just wanted to say happy birthday, pal.
Thank you, sir.
You have a great one, and hopefully we can give some winners out for your birthday. Yeah,
we do. Well, we've been on. What's this? Your third time, I think, on the podcast, somewhere in there, yeah. And I know the very first show we did, we actually just smoked it. You hit the first round leader, and the whole show in itself was a huge week. The second one, I think, was right there next to it. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one is the best one yet. It's a great field. Best players in the world now. They are going to collect here on the East Coast in the United States, and they're going to work their way down, starting at Liberty Lake there in Jersey. Then they'll come down to Maryland, and then they'll come down to Atlanta. I love when the best players are together, playing consistently, and I think the FedEx Cup has gained in popularity, in meaning, and value. Yes, they're playing for a lot of money, $15 million to the winner, but I just think we've had a long enough runway now where it's become part of our DNA. I know I get excited for the playoffs. How about you?
Yeah, I love the playoffs. I just, when they get to that tour championship towards the end, when they stagger all the start with the points and stuff, it's exciting to see, who can run down who. Guys going for broke, trying to get the win so they can win the FedEx Cup. You get those moments like when Tiger won a couple years ago. So the playoffs, it's fun. It definitely adds some meaning to these tournaments where, probably in a regular year, say if these weren't playoff events, you wouldn't see fields anywhere like this. You'd probably see them like the Wyndham Championship last week. So this is almost like a major this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. This field is absolutely loaded. Mm-hmm. And I can't wait to see guys like John Rahm back, Brooks Koepka, and I'm really looking forward to it.
There's always those stories now. You got to play your way in, and then you can play your way out. Last week, Justin Rose played his way out by missing 2 short putts down the stretch, and he let Chesson Hadley have the final spot at 125. It was crazy. He played his way in, meant a lot to him. Great interview. And then you look at Patrick Rogers. He was 123 to start the week. He finishes at 128. Bo Hoag was at 125. He finishes at 129. So we had guys that were on that bubble, played their way out. The biggest jump, which we'll get to down in the 6,000, Roger Sloan went from, he was 131, and he is now 92nd. So he played great golf, played his way in. Other guys moved up, like Brendan Todd, like Adam Hadwin, like Denny McCarthy, like Sepp Straka. These are guys that are, incrementally working their way up, and they're going to have to get inside the top 70 now to continue on. So let's get to it. On the matchup here, we'll go through each level, give you your thoughts. We'll give you probably our thoughts on most players here today, kind of yay or nay, spend more time on others. And then in each level of value, we'll give you our favorite play. And last week, I was all over Russell Henley. I thought it was a great spot for him. But I'll tell you what, Beatin The Bookie, Russell Henley, he's a great ball striker. He's having trouble with the lead down the stretch, though. You can see the nerves kicking in. He should have won that tournament. He bogeyed 4 of his last 8.
Yeah. Especially when he hit like a 33-foot eagle putt the day before. I just don't see how he missed that putt there at the end for the playoff. Like you said, he really should have put it away long before that final stretch. There was a point on Sunday when I had 5, I gave out 6 outrights for the tournament. Mm-hmm. We had 5 guys tied for first, and I did not get one of the winners. And we had 5 guys in the 2 guys in the playoffs. I couldn't get a winner. We had Siwoo Kim and we had Kevin Na, and just couldn't get the winner. And how about Adam Scott missing that? I mean,
I know.
I heard you talking yesterday, and I do remember from when they were showing Brandon Grace putting. They had that look. The camera angle was showing the Brandon Grace, and then behind him was all the golfers in the playoff standing, and Adam Scott was just standing right over there. He wasn't even looking at the line or anything like that. And then, like you said, he took out his green book. I mean, while you're looking at that, it's a 4-footer. Don't think of it. And he wasn't even close on that putt. So that was just brutal. And I had no doubt Kisner was going to make that at the end, even though he was 0 for 5 in playoffs. But that was just a great tournament. I mean, Shot Tracker could barely keep up on the PGA. Right. And, it was great besides, not getting the outright winner. But that was a great tournament. And It was.
The Wyndham, I love it. I tell people, I think it's a great event. There's so many little storylines and, meanings within the tournament, and a 6-man playoff. Yeah, Adam Scott, just bizarre. I just couldn't even believe that he's not standing there watching Brandon Grace's putt. Nevertheless, Adam Scott moved up, started at 121. Now he's 82 coming into this week. And Kevin Kisner gets his 4th win on cue, continuing to fuel the Ryder Cup discussion. He was 69 heading into last week, and now he is 29. Siwoo, you mentioned, is now at the 30th spot. So here we go. Let's start top shelf on the matchup. Jon Rahm, COVID-free, 11,500. DJ, 11,000. Spieth, 10,800. Xander, the gold medalist, 10,600. Morikawa leads the points right now in the FedEx at 10,400. Koepka, 10,200. McIlroy, 10,000. Take me to your boy in this range.
I am going to have to go with chalk right here. I'm going to go with the 2-time COVID-defeating champion, Jon Rahm.
Okay.
All right. I think he's had a nice break. After the Olympics, he was kind of forced to take a break, testing COVID positive for the 2nd time. We saw Jon Rahm playing his best golf of the last 2 months. And he really played his best golf, after this tournament and on last year. So I think Jon Rahm, he just has that competitiveness right now that I love. I'm seeing much more from him than I'm seeing from a guy like DJ right now. Mm-hmm. DJ ran away with this event last year, 30 under, which is absolutely bananas. But I think Rahm's game is probably in the best spot it can be. So I definitely want to take Rahm there. And, my boy Koepka. I'm never not going to take Koepka in one of these big tournaments, especially when it's money. We know he's a money player. And Koepka, I think he's probably having his best overall season, when he strings together non-majors with majors. So I really like where his game is. And he's looking a lot fitter lately the past month.
Yeah.
I don't see that beer belly anymore with him. So I'm liking how he looks. It's just whether his knee can hold up. But I'm definitely going to put my faith in Brooks Koepka and Jon Rahm.
All valid points. They played the Northern Trust here back in 2019, and Jon Rahm finished tied for 3rd here. So he certainly likes this place. And Spieth was tied for 6th, and this was kind of during his drought a little bit. Spieth was positive 8.3 on these greens back in 2019. That's scary when you consider that. We talked about Adam Scott, which we'll get to. He was 5th back in 2019. And, of course, Patrick Reed won the tournament back then. So, yeah, all valid points. it's funny. Like it's almost like we've forgotten about Jon Rahm to some degree. He's the number one player in the world. And when you start looking at these values, are you going to, can you pay up for 1,000 to get the top player in the world? I certainly would do it for Jon Rahm. I agree with DJ. He seems like he's still trying to get the all wheels turning here. I do think it's a bit of a motivation probably from midway through the season. What a difference a year makes. He was dominating at this time last year. And don't sleep on Morikawa. It's easy to push him down. But Morikawa, this would be the seal for him, I think, to obviously the player of the year, to cap this thing off and just make it the year of Colin Morikawa and just rip through these playoffs and dominate like he can with his ball striking. And I agree with Koepka. Koepka looks fit. He looks about as healthy as we've seen him, right? Since coming back with that knee in quite some time. I think McIlroy's interesting, just kind of still floundering a little bit. He was sixth, tied for sixth here back in 2019. All right, I'll give you Spieth. I think Spieth continues to roll here. That putter is a weapon, and we know the driver's better. We know the approach game is on point. The short game is ridiculous, and I'll take Spieth on the head-to-head against Jon Rahm. In the top shelf there, 10,000 beyond. Let's move on to the 9,000. Weird to see Justin Thomas, 9,800. The putter certainly put him there. Bryson DeChambeau, 9,600. Won the U.S. Open down the street there at Winged Foot. Victor Hovland, 95. Abraham Ancer was second here back in 2019. He's at 94. Scheffler, no one's making more birdies than Scheffler. He's at 93. Cantley, 92. Daniel Berger, 91. And then there's the Masters champion Matsuyama at 9,000, who made me a lot of money missing the cut last week. And that feels good, getting that money from the coach coming in from Venmo. There's a lot of good players. I mean, great players in the 9,000 there. Where are you going?
I like Tony Scheffler. I mean, Scotty Scheffler. Tony Scheffler is a football player. I like Scotty Scheffler. He's playing, very consistent right now. And like you said, he is a birdie maker. And this is a course where I think he can make a lot of birdies. We're seeing him become a lot more consistent golfer this year. He's definitely been taking strides, and I think he's underpriced right here. I think, Scotty could easily be like a golfer in 10Ks. So I'm really liking Scheffler. So that's probably where I'll be going with him. I'll have a few plays on him also. So definitely Scheffler. I don't get all the. I feel like Victor Hovland is so overpriced. He's one of the golfers that just. He's a guy. He kind of reminds me of a young Rory right now. He'll have one round where he shoots a 63, then he'll come the next day and he'll start 3 birdies the first 3 holes, and he'll double, bogey, and he'll finish around 2 over. So with Victor Hovland, it's a lot of up and down, and you're just really treading water. I think Scotty Scheffler at this price range is a much more predictable start, and that's what I'm looking for in this spot.
Yeah, I think Scheffler, this is the time of year last year where he kind of popped off for me, the screen, walking down the fairways, TPC Boston with DJ in the final group, DJ running away with it. I mean, remember, Dustin Johnson shot 30 under.
Yeah.
At TPC Boston.
A 60.
I mean, 30 under at TPC Boston. I've played that. It's like, that isn't even possible to do that. It's amazing. Scotty Scheffler was 4th that week. Now, I know it's a different course. I get it. But, Scheffler, it's coming, right? It's coming here. This win, he is a wonderful driver of the ball, which I think this is a good place for him. I think this course sets up well for him where he can use that driver as a weapon. I think the putter's been okay. If the iron game is good, Scheffler can win. That's if he's precise in the proximity, taking advantage of how good of a driver of the ball. I think it's a really good pick. He was certainly in my top 2 here in the 9,000. Are you concerned with DeChambeau? He showed us a little something last time out. But but his iron game hasn't been good. It was better last time we saw him, but are you going to fade him here in high 9,000s?
I probably won't fade him because I think he really showed something. I think he really showed something in his last tournament with his new caddy.
Mm-hmm.
He seems to be, talking with the new caddy a lot more, going over stuff a lot more. So the relationship, they seem to be warming up to each other. So I'm not going to fade him, but I probably won't play him in this spot. But I think his game is trending in the right direction. Though, I mean, we did see him blow up on the back nine with Harris English, which was very painful because I had English. But I think that DeChambeau just has to. I think right now his only, lacking of his game is his mental approach. Sometimes he hits that one bad shot and he lets it ruin his entire round. So he needs a mental coach as much as a caddy right now. But I like where his game is trending, but I'll probably stay away from him at this price level because with him it's either hit or miss. So
yeah, I'm with you. I think I'll fade really the top end of the 9,000. And I'll pick up a little bit of Answer. I think Abraham Answer has been playing some really good golf. He was second here back in 2019. I like where Abraham Answer is trending. I think his short game is getting better. And we know he can go with the ball striking off the tee and the approach game. Definitely going to play Scheffler at 93. I'll pass. I'll probably on Cantlay. I think the putter's given Cantlay a little bit of fits right now. He kind of goes through that, where it's really good and then it kind of falls off and he's just kind of wrestling with it a little bit. But I will play Daniel Berger at 91. I just feel like there's that next step for Berger coming, and I don't know. I'm waiting for it, and I think this is another good spot for him. So I'm playing Berger at 91 over Matsuyama at 9,000. What do you say?
I like that. I think Matsuyama might be a little tired at this point.
Yeah.
He did miss the cut last week, so he's been playing so much golf. I think he could be a little tired. And I like Berger. He's young and upcoming, and he's one of the rare golfers that that every tournament he's going to put together a round that's like a 64 or 63. So he always has that one really good low round per tournament, and he just needs to be able to put two of those together. Usually on Sundays he's in the chase. He's chasing guys down, hoping one of these days to see him play from the front, with the lead. Yeah. So hopefully he can put together more solid rounds than he has been. But I really like his consistency. So
he's been hitting the ball great. His approach game has been fabulous. The putter's been okay. I think the putter, to your point, I think he's probably had that one little putting round where he's not making anything. And then it's the difference between maybe in the final group and winning, getting in that playoff versus finishing fifth, right? At the WGC St. Jude, 8th at the Open, 7th at the US Open. I mean, some pretty heady stuff. Top 10s and major championships. He was positive 10 strokes gained approach at the WGC St. Jude. That's a huge number. That's like Morikawa kind of genius. So he heats up this putter. I like Berger in the 91. If I had to pick one, sounds like you're going Scheffler.
What was that?
He sounds like if you had to pick one in the 9,000 in the matchup, you would go Scheffler.
Yeah, I would take Scheffler over anybody in the 9,000. Because I think Scheffler, every time I watch Scheffler play, he's such a young guy, but he plays like he's 35. Like he plays like a veteran. He never gets shook. He's always like even keeled. He never gets really pissed off or anything. I like his attitude, and I definitely think that he'll be rewarded down the line with some victories. So I like Scheffler.
It's coming. It's coming. You just got to get some things to fall your way. I'm going to give the Abraham Answer. Not a guy I usually go with. We know he won WGC St. Jude. I think he keeps it going here. I don't think he'll win, but I think he keeps it going and rides this out. A lot of confidence. I think he's shown tremendous growth in short game. His putter is hot. His ball striking is really good, and it has been for a while. He was fortunate to win that. There's no, there's some things are going to have to fall your way, right? And I think Abraham said some interesting things when he was done. He was like, look, I've played in a lot of tournaments where I played great on Sunday and I thought I was going to win. And someone shoots 63, right? So you play long enough, some things kind of fall your way. And I think it did kind of fall his way at St. Jude, but he played well enough to win. Things fell Kisner's way at the Wyndham. He picked up the win. So unusual finish, these guys stumbling down the stretch.
I mean, look, with Answer, like, you know, I had Harris English, so that was a brutal loss for me. But with Answer, I mean, he's still, he went to a playoff and he won the playoff. You know, he did what he went out and he took the playoff. He won it. So I don't think anybody can look at that win as like not a great win. I mean, he went out and he beat Matsuyama in a playoff. I mean, you can't really ask for much more. So he definitely took it. So he should not feel bad about that win at all. You know, a win is a win. He's not playing preseason NFL. You know, he won a big PGA tournament. So I think it's a great win for him.
And it gets the monkey
off. It gets the monkey off his back. You know, so now he doesn't have to worry about not winning.
And he's had a week off to drink his Fletcher Cool tequila, which is really good, by the way. And you know, so he's partied. You've ran the gauntlet of being hungover a couple times, and now you got a couple good sweats in. You've worked out, and now you're back at it again at Liberty National. And it's like, man, I'm still hitting it good. I'm still putting it good. Give me Abraham Answer here in the 9,000s. All right, moving on. 8,000. There's Webb 89. Sign me up. I was on him. I was like, Webb's coming. He's coming. I thought that 64 the week before heading into the Wyndham. The 64 at Southwind was a great sign, and he kept it going. Didn't make much on the weekend, but Webb is 100%. It feels like Harris English 88, Casey 87, Reed 86, Cameron Smith 85, Adam Scott almost won last week 84, Corey Connors 83, Finau. Who could it? Finau. We almost forgot about him. Where's Tony been? My boy 82, Neiman 81, Burns 8,000. Give me a couple names there in the 8s.
Well, I'm definitely going to take Harris English. I mean, this is just pure disrespect to have him in the 8,000s. I mean, he should be a 3-time winner on tour this year. Outside of a botched back nine, and I don't put much thought into his botched back nine because I think it was part of them being put on the clock. He was put on the clock due to Bryson, so. I really don't think it was much of his fault. And as he said in the post tournament interview, he said he was running in between shots, shooting, basically sprinting. So I don't put much thought into that. And he's a very hot golfer right now. So I'm definitely gonna be playing Harris English. I'll probably be playing him also to win the tournament. I mean, he got although it's at a different course. We're back in Liberty National at TPC Boston last year. He shot 19 under, got second place. And he lost by 11 strokes. That's unbelievable to me. You shoot 19 under, you lose by 11. That's crazy.
Oh man,
that's kind of like it's like Michael Jordan in the 90s, So I love Harris English in this price range, and Tony for now. I can't get behind him right now. He doesn't do it for me at this point. So yeah, I'm really high on Harris English at this price range.
It's an interesting group right here in the 8,000s. I feel top heavy here because the two guys I like certainly are Simpson and English.
I like Webb too. I mean, Webb could have easily won the Wyndham last week. He triple bogeyed. I can't believe he had a triple bogey in round 3 on that par 5. It was his first triple bogey at that course. I think they said 800 and something holes. So I was really surprised about that, but he came guns blazing on Sunday. He had that eagle out from 175 yards. So I think Webb's game is definitely in a great spot right now compared to where it was, just a couple months ago when he was dealing with that injury.
Yeah.
But you can't go wrong. You can never go wrong with Webb Simpson.
Well, I mean, not usually. I mean, he's clearly struggled this year some with the injury, but I think I feel like Webb really wants to be on the Ryder Cup. And I feel like he probably feels like he's missed most of the year with his play. And now that he's healthy, I feel like we have a very, very focused Webb Simpson. I'll probably play him to win. I was bullish on him last week. Sedgefield. I mean, he's a master at Sedgefield Country Club, but he's played well here too. Webb can play anywhere. And I just feel like he's motivated. Love Simpson, love English. We're back on bent grass green. So we know Paul Casey can get there. Tee to green. Can he do enough with a putter? And his best split is on bent by far.
Yeah.
So he's another one in that top heavy. And then if I had to take another, I'd be Cameron Smith, because I feel like Cameron Smith is playing his best golf of his career. So I feel really heavy up here, in the 8,000s.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm probably going to move those four around a little bit and mix and match. And I'll have to fill in some guys underneath in the 7s and 6s, which we'll get to. But I'm going to pass on the bottom. I'll pass on Scott, Connors, Finau, Neiman, and I'm going to pass on Burns. I hate to say that because Burns is one of my boys.
Yeah, so I'm going with Harris English here.
Going with Harris English, right? I'll give you Webb.
As when you talk about Webb, make sure you take Webb to be the first round leader, because last week again at the Wyndham, he should have been the first round leader at the Wyndham. He started the day off round 1, hole 1, double bogey.
Doubled it, yeah.
And then he finishes 5 under. So I like Webb, and he always comes out hot. So I'll take Harris. But yeah, if you're going to bet Webb to win, make sure you bet him to be the first round leader. Okay.
Good advice, people. I'm telling you. He had like 2 or 3 weeks in a row where he hit the first round leader, for crying out loud. So, all right, I'll bet that. Back in the 7s here. We do a little different in the 7,000s. I'm just gonna go. Okay, I'm just gonna clip them off here, and when you hear a name you like, you stop me. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll stop myself. There's the people's champion, Kevin Kisner, 7,900. You played good here back in 2019. All right, Matthew Fitzpatrick, 7,900. Tyrrell Hatton, 78. Hadn't been a good stretch for Tyrrell.
No way.
Sanjay M, 78.
Nope.
Brian Harmon, 77. Kokrak, 77.
Yep.
Kokrak?
Yeah, he played terribly last week, just to say the least. I had a max plan on him to finish in the top 20. All the metrics pointing towards him finishing in the top 10 there. He would just played terrible. I think he lost like 4 shots to the field. His putting was just, his iron play was abysmal. His putting was abysmal. He couldn't find a fairway to save his life.
Yeah.
And if you don't find the fairways at Sedgefield, you're done. So that was his problem. And I think he got so far out of it to start round 2 that he just basically gave up. So he had the weekend off. So he rested a little bit. And I think he's going to do some good things this weekend. So I like Kokrak in the 7s.
Yeah, Kokrak hurt me last week. I had a couple really, really good lineups, and Kokrak was sticking out as the one that was the weak link. Yeah, he's not going to drive the ball like that. Look like he had the lefts going. It's interesting. Kokrak is 12th in the FedEx Cup. He's 12th. And in fantasy this week, he's all the way down at 7,700. That's crazy. You think about that, right?
He's played consistent this season too. So
he's taught himself how to putt. He's just taught himself how to putt. When you can, he's always been fairly long in the fairway, decent iron player. His short game gets a little clunky, but his putter is the difference. He's one of the best putters in the world, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think he's in right now as far as a pick in the Ryder Cup. I think he's got to win a third time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's interesting. That's the other part of this, is the motivation of the Ryder Cup. And I do think some guys can turn it up. I think Webb can turn it up. So that's why I'm bullish on him. Poulter at 77. We know he can turn it up. Shit, the closer we get to the Ryder Cup, the better that guy plays.
He does, and every tournament that he's played the past couple months, he's throwing in a round of 63, 62 in there. So
he does.
If he can put it together for 4 rounds, watch out because he's putting pretty well right now.
He is.
He's making a lot of long putts to save par. Where if he just plays more consistent with his irons, he can turn those into birdies. So I definitely like Poulter. I mean, he's a gamer. I think he's playing pretty solid this season. So I love Poulter. I think he can definitely finish in the top 10 this weekend.
Horschel's at 76. He seems to has cooled off a little bit with his ball striking. His putting still is pretty good. Just doesn't do enough tee to green for me. So I'm going to pass. Russell Henley, just the opposite. Last 50 rounds, he's number one in strokes gained approach. And I talked him up last week. I was like, this is a beautiful place for Henley. And he putted good. And then he gets the lead, and it's like he saw a ghost. Oh, yeah. But, at 76, you probably don't need him to win. You need him to make the cut and finish top 20, which I think he could do here. Is there some residual there for Henley? I'm going to have to put some more thought on that. Garcia at 76. Oh. Kevin Na in the playoff last week at 75. Speaking of turning it up, that dude can just flip the switch. It's crazy.
He can. I love to watch him play. When he's on his game, he can be as hot as anybody with his irons. And he gets that putter rolling. I mean, it's watch out. So he can turn it up. He did kind of fall apart in the playoff a little bit last week. But he can definitely turn it up. And if he's on the in the final round, if he's anywhere in the chase, he's going to go for it. He's not going to hang back and try to finish top 10. He's going to try to win it. So I like Kevin Na. He's really competitive. And I'm looking for guys who are like super competitive. And Kevin Na definitely fits that bill.
Na right now is 24th in the standings. Horschel's 25. Max Homa, who we haven't gotten to yet, is 27. Corey Connors, 28. Kevin Kisner, 29. And then this next
Connors,
man.
I think Connors can. I think Connors can play well here this week.
And then Siwoo Kim, who we're getting to here, is 30. He's at 7,400, but I skipped a few. There's Horschel, 76. I skipped Keegan Bradley at 75.
Yeah. First round leader.
Yeah. Tee to green, check. Number 4, last 50 rounds. Strokes gained approach, 8th. Putting, one of the worst in the field. Sergio, maybe the only one worse than him. And Aaron Wise.
At what point do you think Sergio is going to start opening his eyes when he puts?
I have no idea.
How do you putt with your eyes closed? I don't understand that.
I have no idea. It's crazy that he puts that in play. It really is.
I don't get it. I don't understand. Why would you not want to look at the hole? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, because the reason is because it's he can't let it go. He gets so hole bound and result oriented that his body then he can't pull the trigger. So it's a bit yippish almost where it's, like I'm so inundated out here that I can't make myself react and go. Yeah. So if I eliminate that, then I can, now I can't see it. Then I just go. It's crazy to think that it's not crazy to think that it works, but it's crazy that you would put that in play on a PGA Tour event. I mean, that really is, it takes a lot of courage. I mean, Spieth looking at the hole, I had a college coach. He looked at the hole when he putted. He made everything. It was nuts. It drove us all crazy. Like, it was like, geez, this guy's looking at the hole, making it from 30 feet.
Maybe Sergio just collecting paychecks at this point. Yeah.
Well, his ball striking is, he's one of the best ball strikers still in the world.
Yeah.
Statistically, still. So Bradley, I wouldn't say is quite the ball striker as Garcia. I mean, Garcia is a little better driver of the ball, I think. But I'm going to pass on Bradley. I'm going to, I'll take some shares of Na. There's Lowry, 75. Lowry does it differently. Lowry's more kind of finesse around the greens, although his approach games are pretty good.
He's a gamer.
Lowry deserves a look at 7,500, folks. I mean, he really does. I think as I dig a little deeper here, I'm going to be playing Lowry a little bit as well.
Yeah, I mean, I love playing Lowry, especially in majors. He's always underpriced. He was like 45 to 1 to win the Open this year, and he was right there
Yep.
at the end. He was right there at the end on the final round. So he's definitely a gamer. I think the bigger the tournament gets, the more likely it is that he shows up. Maybe he's kind of like the Irish Koepka. But I definitely like him, and he is a guy that in the $7,000 range who I could see winning the tournament if they play well. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he won.
Right.
So I'm looking for guys that can win the tournament. He's definitely one of those guys. So
get on a little heater with the putter. I think he can be a little feast or famine with it. He's, I'd say, better than average ball striker, excellent short game player, which I think has a lot of value here. And all right, give me a little bit in the putter and top 20. No, I wouldn't be shocked at all at a Lowry.
No. Yeah.
I'll pass on Bubba at 74, but I'll roll with Streelman again. I rolled with him last week. He performed well for me. I will again. I think Streelman has had a really good year quietly. He was right there at the U.S. Open, fell off back in June, and then it probably hurt him a little bit. He struggled at the Travelers, John Deere. Then he came back, top 20 at the Open, 7th at the Wyndham.
Yeah.
Sign me up. I think Streelman's playing great golf.
He should have been in the playoff too. I mean, he missed a 5-footer for par on 18 that would have sent him. And I had him 50 to 1, so I was hoping he made the playoff there, but he missed that par putt on 18, which cost him. But he's playing some solid, consistent golf.
He is.
And the 7,000s, that's really all you can ask for in this range.
Yeah, he's going to make the cut. And he's playing very solid, consistent golf. Maybe, probably deserves right here at 74. Siwoo 74. He loves Sedgefield. You think of Sedgefield last week. You think Webb Simpson won, Siwoo Kim 1A.
I mean, Siwoo should have won.
Yeah.
Missed too many 4-footers. He can't make 4-foot putts. That cost him the championship. So.
Jason Day, 74. Jason Day's not getting a lot out of his game.
Nah.
His ball striking is better than he did some changes in his swing. It's been better than advertised at times, especially off the tee. But his putter hasn't been anywhere near Jason Day. Nowhere near.
Yeah. And he just looks like he's in pain walking around the course, so.
Mickelson, 73. Just can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah. I can't do it either. I can't make fun of him either because, if I make fun of him, he'll probably win. So.
All right, here's the other 73s. Munoz, Champ, and Tringali. Any interest? You got to play Tringali.
Yeah. Munoz has been playing pretty good.
Tringali is by far the most consistent. By far.
Tringali blew up on me a few times, so I kind of stay away from him.
There. Got it out of you. I knew I could see it in your face. He crushed you at some point. See, it's hard to overcome that. I'm not a Tringali guy, but I got to tell you, I've been on the losing end, not having him in more times than not. You know what? I'm not doing it again. Tringali, I'll play, go out and shoot your 76, 75 and go home.
It was the PGA Championship, I think, where he had like a 10 on one of the holes. He had a 10 on like a par 4. So yeah, I stay away from Tringali right there for sure.
I mean, strokes gained approach, check. Round the green, check. Putting, check. I mean, he's in the upper third, higher than that, upper echelon, last 50 rounds in this field in all 3 categories. I know it's hard to. Sometimes you just got to hear it, right? It's like therapy. You have to admit it.
If I bet on him, he'll play like Beatin The Bookie on the course. So
I'm not, I'm gonna sprinkle him in over Homa. Here's your 72s: Homa, Grillo, Grace, and Leishman.
Yeah, it's a no for me from Homa. He's just
me too.
Been playing poor. I mean, Grillo's been playing pretty good. Leishman's having a much better year this year than last year. And Grace, I'd probably take Grace at that point. I mean, he might be a little tired, as he was in that playoff last weekend too. So, if those are your guys to choose from, I mean, I'll probably go with Grace. But just as my last guy to throw in there. You know?
Grace feels the safest out of those 72s.
Yeah.
Not sure I'll play any of them though. Palmer's, here's 71s. Ready? Palmer, Ryan Palmer, Vegas, Stuart Sink, Matthew Wolf.
You know, Vegas is playing some great golf right now.
The driving machine.
He's one guy where if a tournament was one round, you know, I'd put him right up there with anybody because this is a guy who can put together a 62, 63 every week. It's just whether he can hold it together going into the weekend. He usually starts falling apart in round 3 or 4, but he starts out every tournament hot. So I'd probably take Vegas in that price range.
Yeah, I'll probably give you Wolf out of the 71s. 7,000s. Seamus Power, Woodland, Hoffman, Davis. Davis has had a good year, had a win. So did Power. Opposite field event.
Yeah.
I feel like we haven't seen Charlie Hoffman in like 6 months all of a sudden.
And he was playing great golf too. So
he was.
Before you stopped.
I like Seamus Power. I was on him last week. He hurt me. I've been on him. He's been good for me most of the year. I like his game. I like where it's going. It feels like just a weird year for Woodland, jumping around, coaches. Hoffman, to me, is one of the most interesting names down here in this field. I mean, here's a guy who I think has exponentially gotten better off the tee, longer, exponentially better with his iron game, and I think his putter's pretty damn good. I mean, I'm gonna go with Hoffman in this range, in the 7,000. That's the guy that I'll play. I've been on the wrong side of Davis most of the time. Can't quite figure that dude out. But I think Hoffman is the most skilled player down here in the 7,000. Yeah. Certainly Stuart Sink, who's won twice at 71, would say, hey, wait a minute on that statement. But yeah, I like Hoffman. Sign me up.
Yeah, I like Hoffman as well. I think he's probably down at this range because he hasn't played in a few weeks. Stuart Sink, I think now we're starting to see like maybe Stuart Sink's age a little bit. He looks a little tired out there.
Yeah, it's true.
So maybe he's played one too many tournaments this year. I mean, it has been a long season, so he's had a great year. I just think you're seeing him wear down a little bit when the third round starts around there. So I like, I'm with you on Charlie Hoffman. I think he can definitely do some things. And I think that's a great value play with Charlie Hoffman. He's been a top 20 machine this season.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna bet Charlie Hoffman to finish in the top 20. So
okay,
that's a bet I'll make. But yeah, I'm with you right there on him. I think he can definitely do some stuff. And the best value you'll get in this range for any golfer.
Well, we're getting into some names now that they got to play well to move on, right? We start on the top end, and those guys are like, yeah, I can. I'm going to miss the cut and still be okay for next week. Yeah. But we're getting into names like Seamus Power, who's currently 73rd. He's got to get inside the top 70. We're getting into names. We mentioned Ian Poulter. He's actually 79th. He's further down than I thought. Yeah. So he's 79th. Poulter, to me, is a good pick. The more I think about it, I mentioned Matthew Wolf. He's at 59. He's got to get going. He's got to play well. Or, is he safe? I don't know. The points are worth a lot more now. So
how is he 59? He hasn't played very well this year at all.
I know. Crazy. He's currently 59th place right now. Hudson Swafford's 56. He'll be on the podcast tomorrow. Give us an update from Liberty National and how things are there. I'd better be out there hitting balls, putting. You have to play some golf, get inside.
Yeah.
Stay inside that top 70. There's Streelman, 53. Now we're getting into, okay, they're probably okay. Vegas at 49. Griot. Wow, Griot's 47. Okay.
He snuck in there,
Yeah, he did. Okay. So we're getting into those names where you're going to see a lot of fluctuation. And speaking of having to play well, we're down in the 6,000s, folks. So we're going to give you a couple names that we like. I'll give you the floor. Who's the first guy?
I like Brian Stewart.
Okay.
he's been playing some good golf lately too. And if you look at his last few weeks, he's finishing in the top 20. I think he even had I think he was in the lead, maybe just right off the lead last week, and I think he had a quad bogey in the third round. That kind of ruined his tournament. But outside of that, he's been playing really well. In this range, you're not really going to get much for your money. And I think Stewart's a guy that can finish in the top 10, top 20 when he's playing well. Okay. So I would definitely, take a look at him in this range.
I'll give you Aaron Wise. 66. We know he's going to do it with the ball striking. Very nice ball striker, good driver, good iron player, good short game. And he's been in the positive 3 of the last 5 tournaments with this putter. And that's a promising sign. I thought he played pretty well last week. Didn't hit his driver as well as he usually does, but he putted nicely. Perhaps bent grass greens, back to his Oregon days. Bent grass greens. I don't know. Just drawing it here. I've been pretty good in this range. We were really good last week. I think Aaron Wise is slowly trending with the putter. And if he can just be positive 1 or 2 the way that he hits it, Aaron Wise will certainly make the cut like he did back in 2019 here. And I think can easily get inside that top 30, which we'll take at that value. Who else do you like? Give me one more name.
Aaron Wise, every time I see him, he looks like he's 14-year-old junior golfer. But yeah, I was talking about Brian Stewart. You look at his last 5 events. I mean, the John Deere 8th place, Barbasol 15th, the 3M 6th place. He missed the cut at the Barracuda. Then he got 15th last weekend at the Wyndham. So he's been playing some pretty good golf, especially for a golfer in this price range. So I like Brian Stewart, and I also like Sloan, a Canadian guy.
I like Sloan too.
These Canadians are getting. The Canadians have been improving this year a lot. Hadwin also coming off probably his best couple of weeks of the season. So I'll probably play Sloan in this range. I think he just gives you the most upside of any of the numbers of the players remaining.
Yeah, Roger Sloan was a guy that we talked a lot about last week too, that we liked, and he played beautiful golf, played his way in, as I mentioned. He was 131st coming in. I think for me, in the 6s, I'm kind of jostling here on a couple guys. I kind of like the way CT Pond is trending at 6,600. That's a name that I think is he's kind of slowly putting some things together here from the Olympics on. A little bit of a big ballpark for him at 7,400 yards. That concerns me a little. I talked about Aaron Wise at 66 as I look at some names. Reavie at 64. You're going to get it with the ball striking. Glover's had a nice year with his win. He's got to keep it going.
Scott Stallings, I think he has a high ceiling.
Stallings?
Yeah.
I mean, he's won a few times out here. I'll give you Varner at 67. I'll give you HV3. 67. That's my other pick in this range. But I do like CT Pont. I think that's a guy that has done well for me, and I think he's trending pretty nicely as well. Won the bronze medal.
Yeah.
And which was another incredible playoff. We've had some wild playoffs and finishes. His putter can hold him back, but bent is his best split, and he played well. He's 29th at the Wyndham last week, better field. His putter was pretty chilly, which is usually the case. Nice plotter of the ball, kind of a fairways and greens kind of guy, short game, a little bit above average. But I'll roll CT as my third in that range as well.
I mean, I could see. I was shocked that he, won a medal at the Olympics. He's playing. He's usually all over the place. You make a good point. We've seen so many playoffs these days. I mean, we didn't have a playoff for a while, And now we seem to have a playoff every single week. So the last few weeks I've been betting for there to be a playoff at plus 400 every week, because these tournaments have, been so competitive, so close. I definitely think there's like great value in, will there be a playoff at plus 400? As long as somebody like DJ doesn't run away with it, I think, you have a pretty good shot. But it's definitely been playoff season.
Yeah.
So,
and we've seen some melting, Harris English melted, Bryson melted. And then we see Russell Henley melt, and it just, guys that look like they've got the tournament under control, and all of a sudden they go out and shoot 40.
I'd say Harris English's melt was probably like the most surprising ever, because he's a very consistent player, and you could just tell something was wrong. Like, I think he hit that one tee shot on 14 just straight into the water. It had no chance. So he was definitely riled up there. So I could see the excuse that he gave as, being a great excuse. But we're seeing some meltdowns. I wasn't really surprised with Henley, though. I thought in like the third round when he made that eagle to like take a 4-shot lead again, I thought he pretty much staved off the meltdown. But then, he starts out the fourth round with a bogey on the second hole, and you knew right there that he was just going to be tightening up, and it was all downhill.
Lots to consider here. Hopefully, we gave you some names to plug in to those lineups here. It's the Stripe Show podcast. Call it the matchup on a Tuesday. Presented by Encore Golf. Get fitted for your perfect golf ball today at EncoreGolf.com. Beatin The Bookie. You're the man. I think we helped some people out. Good luck this week, and we'll do it again soon.
Thanks for having me, and happy, 55?
Yeah. Try 44.
Happy birthday, and
thank you.
Make sure take a few shots of Answers Tequila tonight.
I will.
All right.
I just might do that. Podcast might be, I got Froggy doing the pod tomorrow, so I might have one or two of those.
And then make sure you go play 18 after.